Hello, everyone. Looks like we've made it. Only 5 minutes late. Let's see. We're all Candace Owens, huh? All right. Let's see. Honestly, for the last few years, Blaire's seen a sharp decline in viewership. I don't. So actually, obviously, there's a question mark on the video, so we're gonna go through this and see if she has gone full Candace Owens. Uh, sure, some 7B. What the heck is that on the back of the mic? Are those outputs? What the heck? Are those 4 USB outs? That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Huh. How y'all doing? Hey, Destroyer. Hey, Ben. Hey, Axe. Hey, Buzzy. Glad I saw your video last week about Ruben introducing Candace and Kanye. Sent it to Jay Witt. Oh, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time back then. I was, doing security over at Google. And, yeah, I would have a lot of time to be able to listen to podcasts and stuff. And I listened to all of these back in, like, 2017 and 2016 and 2015. Actually, I started out there in 2014, back when it was just a tiny little building out in the middle of the woods. And then it grew into the biggest Google site in the entire world. Isn't that wild? Crazy, crazy things that happen all around you. It's just some of the most wild stuff. I miss that place. It used to be very, very, very libertarian. It was nice. This is back whenever they still had the slogan, "Don't be evil." So. Oh, you mean the night before? Oh, yeah, we had a great Halloween. How about you guys? It's November 2nd. Actually, today's my anniversary. Unfortunately, my wife is sick. So, just is what it is. Laying on the couch, we'll celebrate that later. We're not super, like attached to dates specifically. We just celebrate whenever it's most convenient. Good evening, Swan Jeff. You almost remind me of a Snow Jeff. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that, Tina. I mean, happens, Never know when you'll catch a virus. It just is what it is. Naturally, it's COVID. Every time. Man, COVID is just, it's brutal, isn't it? Absolutely brutal. Happy almost anniversary? No, it is. Today, anyway. Getting paid by Qatar? I did pre-watch this, but I forgot some of the stuff that she had mentioned. I think Blaire actually takes the sensible stance here. So, there are a couple things that I think Blaire may get wrong, in my opinion. We'll go through that. But at the end of the day, I think Blaire actually does this the way that Candace should have done this. You know what I mean? If you're going to go conspiracy, this is probably the way you would want to do it. So Blaire isn't doing a bunch of finger pointing. Not a whole lot, anyway. She does point, she, he, I don't care what you guys want to call, I'll say she. Blaire is finger pointing the feds, of course. That could mean a number of things. Could mean that Trump is part of it. Trump is being fooled by him, whichever one you would want to believe, or whichever one you think, both are valid. Kind of those things. Happy anniversary to me and my wife. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I'm lucky to have get COVID. Really? I've had it, like, literally 100 times probably by now. Like, I get it multiple times a year. Just little scratchy to the throat. And then my wife, she gets it a little bit worse than I do. Sometimes a lot worse than I do. But with her having an autoimmune issue, probably from the poke, we don't know for sure, of course, but how can anyone know for sure what that's caused whenever they don't release anything on it? Or, I mean, they have kind of, but, doctors are very, very, very ignorant to it. It's amazing. You ask them about it, and they're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. you know? And some of them are like, oh, I've seen a lot of side effects from the Pope. And it's murky. It's very murky. So, I don't know. All of it is just absolutely horrendous, you know? We don't know where it's coming from. Don't know why per se, but it's a lot better than it has been, which is why I had to take an entire year off of this platform. It sucked. I probably would be at like 30,000 subs by now or something if I didn't take that year off, but I had to take an entire year break. And it was at the worst time. That's whenever YouTube just completely, totally censored my channel and demonetized it. No idea why they did that. Just still to this day, no clue. And then they were just emailed me, go, hey, you're remonetized and stuff again. And I'm like, okay, I guess. Thank you. I appreciate it, but why did you do it in the first place? I don't know. It is what it is, but hey, anyway, thank you all so much. I do appreciate it. Let's jump right on into this.
I don't know how you could be fed all that slop from the FBI when it came to the Epstein stuff, and then just like, but they're definitely telling us the truth for the Charlie Kirk stuff. Here is a list of the terms that appeared on Google Trends prior to September 10th in clusters. When did conspiracy even become like a slur? You know, conspiracy just means an organized lie, right? Let's translate what you're saying. When you say not to be a conspiracy theorist, but what you're saying is not to believe that people can lie in an organized way. See how stupid you sound when you actually break it down? Welcome back to—
I mean, kind of. I mean, you know how people mean it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the whole thing with the left says, you know, Antifa means anti-fascist. Why are you against anti-fascism? You know? So it's like, oh, happy, 6 years married, but, you know, 8 years, or 9 years in total actually coming up in 1 month. So, yeah, crazy stuff. Because of the Biden administration forced YouTube. Yeah, that's, you know, well, here's the thing about that, right? Because of the Biden administration, I lost my job at Google. And then, because of the Biden administration, I lost my monetization on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, it was really it was not a good year. It was not a good year at all. Like, I can't believe how much one president has actually personally affected my life to so many different degrees. A little bit more than just the average person. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, obviously, YouTube isn't necessarily something you can really count in the real world. But at the end of the day, it's like, I didn't expect him to invade that part as well. You know what I mean? So it just burns me up. It absolutely burns me up how much damage that dude did. You know what I mean? And he got people way worse than what I was gone. So, I mean, there's that. I could have been one of those arrested for talking about January 6th, you know, and being a conspirator somehow because I made a video online about it.
To the Blaire White Project podcast. As you can see, I am in my Halloween costume today because, as you know, it is Halloween weekend. If you can guess or if you know who I am without me having to say it, points for you. But I am, in fact, Megan Fox from Jennifer's Body, the iconic cheerleader.
I don't know if you guys have seen Jennifer's Body, but it's freaking hilarious. It's a very funny movie. I hope they didn't intend for that to be a serious movie. It works really well as a comedy.
Leader outfit. Let me show you. I feel like it's super cute.
Okay, it's just the
and unlike
uniform.
The real Megan Fox, this is not real blood. Y'all know she's a witch like that, right? This isn't about her, but I did just realize she does that for real. That's sick.
I mean, you can't cure the...
But moving on, we have a jam-packed show today. We have some Charlie Kirk shooter conspiracy evidence, which is really insane. We have Lily Tino returning from the depths of Hades to pester us. We have fatfluencers canceling ex-fatfluencers for daring.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, King Corso Mom. Yeah, that's a bummer. You know, Biden, who was just the best American first president, especially after he stripped us of so much and embarrassed us all over the world. Yeah, I mean, it is
to lose weight, which is hilarious. And we have some J.K. Rowling stuff, so let's jump into it. Admittedly, it feels a little weird to talk about the Charlie Kirk one with this costume, but so people are discovering through Google Trends that in July and in the days leading up to
well, I mean, so totally understandable, but you didn't have to come on with the blood if you were actually really worried about that. I wouldn't be worried about it because it's very obvious, like, where the blood's coming from and stuff, but I mean...
Charlie Kirk's assassination, a cluster of searches were made in Washington, D.C., Israel, and Huntsville, Alabama, which is a huge FBI hub. If you don't know, now you know. Here is a list of the terms that appeared on Google Trends prior to September 10th in clusters. Remember, together, not separate, not random. Tyler James Robinson, his full name. N888KG, which is the airplane. Lucy Center, which is the rooftop where the shooter allegedly.
Now, why, I don't remember Candace ever mentioning in 888KG specifically. What airplane is that? Is that one of the ones that, because she didn't mention that airplane being close to Charlie at all. She's talking about those. Why haven't we seen anything about this airplane? I haven't seen Candace bring that up. Did you guys? Did Candace miss this, or did I? Because that's interesting, right? In 888KG, let me see on X real quick. I'm just wondering, did I miss something? Because I don't want to miss any. Okay, it has been searched. Okay. So here's the flight's previous post I did about a month ago. Jet registration number N888KG that flew into Provo, Utah. This is the only one. Is this the one that was carrying the supposed people? So this is it. I don't remember her mentioning that tail number, though. You know? That's interesting. I remember her having the butt one and the, it's the UTT and the, whatever the other TT one was. Why wasn't this one brought to our attention? You know? This Lauren account, what do you mean? Wait, Lauren. Oh, right. More than 60,000 layoffs right now. Yeah, this person comes in here and just like espouses off BS. More than 60,000 layoffs were announced last week. Okay. For what? For specifically what? Why don't you mention the job hires that have happened too? Why only one half? He holds the record for the second longest shutdown. Quick question. Why can't the Democrats just like, you know, I don't know, agree to no health care for illegal immigrants? You know? Because guess what? It takes a majority. It takes 60 to open the government back up. Okay? 2 Democrats and the rest of the Republicans all vote to open it back up. Not a single Democrat is voting to open it back up. So why do you blame Trump? Can I ask you that real quick? Why do you blame Trump when it's the Democrats who are saying no to opening the government back up? Why is that Trump's fault? Maybe take responsibility for what you do. I don't know. Seems like a pretty easy thing, but Lauren's not going to comment after that. She'll obfuscate. She won't even acknowledge what I said. And that's just how the left works. You know? Anyway, so here's this. For those interested in 888KG LLC, here's what the public records say. Note that it's explicitly a foreign. All right, so that one's searched. Why? I don't remember Candace mentioning that one. And I don't see her tweeting about it. Why isn't she at the top? Maybe it'll come up. Maybe she will tweet something out about it. Did Candace Owens really not mention this tail number at all? Why? Why? Maybe... This is very strange. Yeah, I told you guys, she's not going to comment back. Like, she's just going to ignore it. Like, you know, it's just the way leftists do it. It is what it is. I'm so used to it. You ask them a direct question and they won't answer directly at all. And they wonder why, you know, they have only a 15% approval rating. And Republicans are sitting at 45. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy. Because we haven't moved up or down really in approval rating. Hardly at all. But man, the Democrats just keep going straight down and they just do not care. They're just like, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, let's see how many elections you win after this then. You know, if that's the case, tank it. I don't care. Based on recent reports, the aircraft in Candace Owens' post appears to refer to a private jet tail number in 888KG that departed Provo Airport shortly after Charlie Kirk's assassination. Flight data shows it briefly turned off its transponder. That must be the one Candace brought up. That's the one that apparently... Okay, this has to be the one that apparently had the 3 contractors. Okay. Now Candace is bringing more planes into it. I didn't realize that. Okay, so she did mention this one. Yeah, it's weird. again, like I said, it's weird that this would be. I didn't know about the searches per se. Somebody brought them up last live stream yesterday. No, she wasn't blocked. She's here. She's just not typing, but I could see she's not blocked or anything. Anyway, all these things were Mauser 98. Why would they Google that though? Here's my thing. This is just what doesn't make sense, because I can understand. No, actually, I can't understand. I can understand them Googling the plane. Maybe. Wait, why would they? No, that doesn't make sense. Why would they Google any of this? Why wouldn't they just, actually just rent a private jet? Buy any type of weapon would have done, right? Would it really matter? Anything that's really meant to shoot down range? Why not? Can anybody tell me that? That's interesting, right? Very strange. I'm very confused by it. Why would they Google any of this? They wouldn't need to. And isn't that weird? I mean, whether they did it or not, I can't wrap my head around why they would Google any of this information before any of this happened. I just can't think as to why they would do that. I don't know. If anybody has any ideas.
Allegedly was.
It doesn't make sense.
Mauser 98, which is the alleged gun that was used, which is apparently a very rare gun that is untraceable.
What?
Apparently an older type of weapon, very classic political assassination type firearm.
I don't think that's accurate. I don't think that's accurate at all. Okay.
The hospital he was taken to after the shooting, the medical examiner that was on the case, the alleged doctor Stephen Nealman, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, and even less voted for your side. So what's your point? Your entire argument, Lauren, just fell apart with one thing. You had less people. So you could sit there and say all day long that the rest would support Biden or support Kamala. But guess what? They didn't. They didn't support them. You have no idea who they would support. And that's your problem. People liked your side less. It's more likely that if only 30%, of them turned out, for Trump, and even less than that turned out for Kamala, that trend would continue throughout the rest of the population. What do you think, if everybody else just got off their rear end and voted, all of a sudden Trump wouldn't have won? No. If every single last person in the United States voted, the number still would have turned out the same. The percentage. Because it translates. So, I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. These people need to get off the government's teat, because the government has completely and totally screwed this economy. I don't know. If people were a little bit more interested in life and not siphoning completely off of our safety networks, we wouldn't be in this position. There are way too many people on welfare who do not need to be on welfare. Way too many. And guess what? They're finding out. They're going to go and they're going to have to get a job. Sucks, doesn't it? Oh, man, sucks. We all have to freaking work. Get over it.
Patterson, Lee Trotter, Lee Patterson, all doctors that worked on the case. So do you ever catch yourself reaching for something out of pure habit, whether you're stressed, bored, overworked, whatever the case may be? Yeah, same. And that's why I tried Fume, which is genius.
I am not watching that. They do not sponsor me. You guys want to sponsor me? Then reach out.
Evidence of exactly who did it.
I don't think I would ever sponsor Fume. I don't know if I can ever be like, hey, suck this down your lungs. It's probably not good either way.
No. Is it evidence that the narrative that's coming forward from the FBI, just like the Epstein stuff?
Donald Trump was the one who pushed COVID vaccines out there. What are you talking about? Who cares? Well, it's unbelievable how the left has completely tried to gaslight people into thinking that Trump was anti-COVID vaccine. He actually wasn't. And guess what? Do you know what's a fun fact? All of MAGA criticized Trump for it. Because guess what? Whenever our president does something that we don't approve of, we hold them accountable. A great example, look above my head. Guess what? We want Trump to release the Epstein files. You guys never once tried to get Biden to release the Epstein files. 4 years, his FBI investigated the Epstein case. Not once did the left ever ask for Biden to release those files. It's amazing, isn't it? Just incredible. You can see Blaire White right here holding Trump's feet to the fire as a MAGA person. It's what we do. It's wild, isn't it? It's hard for you to trust anyone that didn't support the same presidential candidate as the January 6th rioters. Let's pretend that January 6th was a real riot. We have one riot. You guys have hundreds of riots under your belt. You guys have committed 4 insurrections on Capitol grounds. Why do you think January 6th holds any power over us whatsoever? You guys went in there with the Palestine protests. You guys firebombed the White House and burnt down one of the whatever how you pronounce that name, church that's on the White House grounds. You guys sent Trump to the bunker, trying to throw firebombs on the lawn of the White House, trying to get it into the White House, obviously. They had the CHOP and the CHAZ. Do you remember that? The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Do you know what that means? It means they took over their local Capitol building. It's not an insurrection to you? BLM. Burning down cities, looting, stabbing people, shooting people. 53 deaths involved with the BLM riots just in 2020. That's okay. That's fine. It's fine when you guys get violent, isn't it? It's crazy how that works. Crazy how you excuse the violence on your side. But God forbid somebody broke a damn window on January 6th. I'm so sorry that you're so offended by that. Couldn't even name one person injured by a MAGA supporter whatsoever. You couldn't name one because they don't exist.
Is, not necessarily the whole truth, in my opinion. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not a smoking gun, but it's a little bit of a hot gun, right? It's steaming up. It's a steamy gun. So credit to the Real Baron podcast for uncovering this. The worst part is, this has been shared by a lot of influencers and people who are ringing the alarm about this. And
ringing the kettle.
Google, sorry, I'm trying not to swear so much. I really am.
Hold on.
God recently told me a few things. Tell gay and trans people they can find God and stop swearing. That's ugly. So I'm trying to work on that. I really am. I'm not trying to be funny. They freaking scrubbed it off of Google Trends, which is again about the best proof of it being something being up.
Okay.
As you could ask for.
Yeah, it's weird.
This person breaks it down.
This is
Why would
Tyler
Google,
James Robinson.
Why would Google be in on this too? And how would they get them to keep their mouths shut too? It's just weird, right? And they got scrubbed. It did happen, so it's like, that's weird. How did this happen?
The alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk,
It's just
who a lot of us
crazy
now
to
know
me.
by name. But according to Google Trends, somebody, maybe multiple, in the DC metro area was searching for Tyler James Robinson one day before the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
That's not weird. Very, very common name. Especially with the middle name James. Are you kidding me? It's as generic as can be. Like I said, in my last stream, I actually had a neighbor 2 doors down from me. It was me, Buddy Kinney, and then Tyler Robinson. Not even kidding. Not this Tyler Robinson, of course not. I'm way older than this kid. And Tyler Robinson's like 5 or 6 years older than me. So is Kinney. But, we all hung out anyway, skateboarding, and we would play a lot of Ultima Online. Crazy little game. I don't know where. It was Kinney that found that one, but... And we'd play that stuff, and, he, the reason why I mentioned his name at all is just simply, it's a common name. In fact, he wasn't even the only Tyler Robinson in my school. Now, I don't know if his middle name's James or not, or if any of them had the middle name James, but the fact that it's just seeing James is like, okay, well, how common is the name James, especially as a middle name as well? So that one's not weird to me.
Okay, you see this big spike over here. That's on September 12th. That's when we all found out through the news who he was and started Googling his name. But this small spike on September 9th, that's kind of weird, don't you think? Now, what about the...
No, I don't think that's weird at all. I don't think that name's weird because that's like literally like thinking that Tyler James Robinson is the only Tyler James Robinson in the United States or in the world even. Someone could genuinely have a good reason to Google his name. Another reason, too, though, if people, kind of want to think about this as well. What if all of these Google searches are from the trans underground? You know what I'm saying? If there's an underground network of trans people that are, how many trans mass shooters have there been this year alone? 8 of them? All of them have been making drawings and symbols similar to each other. If they're communicating with each other, why couldn't it be them? And especially, if that is the case, then the FBI would be telling the truth, right? Just saying. So, there is that. We had a Republican president and a Republican majority in all 3 branches of government for 9 months. Okay, they don't make 60 votes, Lauren. Do you not understand math? And again, we have 2 Democrats that are voting with us. It's only Democrats voting to not open the government. If you repeat that again, I'm going to ban you from this chat. We've already addressed that. Like, I'm not going to argue in circles. That's boring. Are you kidding me? Come up with something new. Seriously, it's only Democrats keeping the government shut down. If they want it open, they'll open it back up. Democrats don't want it open. Republicans are voting yes. Democrats are voting no. You can look it up. You can look up the chart. You can look up every representative's name. Dang it, that one hair. There we go. Didn't get back in there. So seriously, sit there and keep pretending like it's shameful that Republicans are doing this. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, so as I'm going back to this, the thing about it is oh shoot, where was I? What were we talking about here? The Google searches, that's right. So yeah, it could be the underground trans network, right? They could have been Googling this stuff. They could have been like, oh, okay, we're going to send him in. Okay, we're going to get him. Let's get him this weapon. Let's get him this. And who knows? Maybe it's someone out of DC funding all of this as well. Maybe it's a branch of the FBI that's gone rogue. Or maybe it is Kash Patel in the FBI and Trump is completely oblivious. Or Trump could be in on it again, too. Who knows? Like, the conspiracy, there's so many branches of conspiracy you can go to. Unfortunately, you can't pick one without evidence.
Pelosi Center, the building where Tyler Robinson allegedly shot Charlie Kirk from. Well, again, for some reason, a small number of people in the Washington, D.C. area was Googling Pelosi Center 2 days prior to Charlie Kirk's assassination, September 8th, 2025. What is that all about? Once again, this is when we all heard about it.
Again, people could have been Googling there to, go over there to the Pelosi Center. It's an actual place. I'm sure people would have to Google it maybe, see which building is the Pelosi Center. It is in Washington, D.C., but you don't know if these are the same people looking at it or not. So, again, a lot of people from all over the United States go to that college. I can imagine that maybe someone would have actually Googled that. All the same day, gets weird. Gets even weirder. But if you just look at each individual thing, you can kind of see that each individual one isn't weird. And if we could time to the exact same people, then it's weird. But at the same time, maybe not, because DC has how many people living in it? You know what I mean? It's pretty densely populated.
Some group of people over here 2 days prior was, just having fun Googling Pelosi Center. Now, what about a Mauser 98? You've heard of that? Well, evidently there was pretty much no interest in the Mauser 98 until August 27th when somebody,
you're repeating
DC
yourself, Lauren. You're a bot. I'm banning you. I'm done with this. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. I'm done with that.
Like,
she's just repeating herself.
I am curious about the Mauser 98. Once again, to reiterate, these are all just coincidences.
Now, anybody who's going to poo-poo this and be like, oh, it's just a coincidence.
We've
I'm sorry,
already
I
addressed
need a
those
different
arguments, and
explanation
you're just
because
spamming them at this point.
statistically,
I don't
for
like
it to be
that.
such a coincidence
I
that
asked you
all
to
these
not do
terms that
that.
all have to do
Come up with
with
different
the
arguments
assassination
or get banned, and you
all
didn't.
spiked
So, there's that.
simultaneously and together in unison.
Sitting there saying, oh, well, only 30% voted for Trump out of everyone. Yeah, well, that means only like 25% voted for Kamala. Okay, congratulations. You made no point. You made no point. Whatever percent voted for Trump, Kamala got less of. It's the same thing. I could say the same argument for you guys.
From
It's
these locations,
dumb.
I mean,
You know what I mean? God,
I don't know.
Such a low
well,
IQ
well, I
argument.
do know. It's very, very suspicious, and it's so disappointing
So
to me
dumb.
how, I didn't know there were so many
Then you just keep
government
repeating and spamming,
bootlickers
so now
on
I
the
think you're
right
just a bot.
until recently. And call me naive, maybe that's the case, but I just thought there was a lot less. But I realized there is a huge fragment of people on the right that were only like distrustful of the government when the other party was in office. But now that this party's in office, somehow Kash Patel's cracked out looking face convinces them. No, it was just a guy who was dating a furry.
Why does he have like a weird like Dobby here? Here's like just kind of pointing out. Elfie, almost.
Somehow that is like convincing to a really big swath of people on the right. See, for me, I've always been a distrust the government person as a baseline, as a foundation for all of my other thoughts about the world, for my overall ideology and my worldview.
Well, yeah, I would think.
Like that was the starting point. Clearly, I'm
Right.
going to trust a Democrat administration like less than a Republican one, but it's not to say that you just glaze whoever is in office on the right. You just glaze this administration.
Yeah,
I don't know
don't hear
how you
about
could be
glazing,
fed all that
please.
slop
No thanks.
from the FBI, from Pam Bondi, from Kash Patel when it came to the Epstein stuff. And
hate
then
that term
just like,
so
but they're
much.
definitely telling us the truth for the Charlie Kirk stuff.
I hate
I
Cook,
don't
too.
really think
That
that.
annoys me.
I think that there is a large amount of evidence now at this point. We've already done a video on this. There's many people, many independent journalists on the case here saying something is up with the Charlie Kirk thing. Like, why am I supposed to not remember or notice that there was a patsy on the grounds when it happened? There was like an old man creating a distraction. And there's
I've been questioning that ever since, and him being a part of this Trends Network thing would also make sense. Just saying.
all these red flags for me when it comes to a lot of this, like, shut up out of respect for the family, shut up out of, people's feelings. Suddenly the facts don't care about your feelings. People are like, oh, no, we can't question the narrative because of the feelings of the family. And this is disrespectful. Since when is an investigation of an assassination, especially a high profile one, but any murder, since when is that seized or halted or paused out of feelings and out of respect for the family? How is it disrespectful to get to the bottom of it?
Did it get paused, per se? Is the investigation not ongoing? I actually haven't looked into that part either. I thought it was still just ongoing. Let me see. Is the Charlie Kirk case ongoing? I'm curious. Yes, the criminal case against Tyler Robinson for the graphic grade. Yeah, that's not what I asked. Okay. Oh, well, I guess I could have investigation. But yes, the investigation is still ongoing, so I don't know what they're talking about. Okay. Ongoing as of November 2nd, 2025. Motive, ongoing, state prosecution, broader probes. Separate federal efforts include reviewing nearly 300 Pentagon employees for post-shooting online comments and intelligence community. Oh, really? Interesting. They are still looking into, like, Pentagon employees and stuff. Wow. To see if they've been involved. It doesn't sound like the FBI has quit. It doesn't sound like that to me. Well, that's interesting. Where am I back? Get back here. So it looks to me like, yeah. Everything's still ongoing with it here. So what's up with that? I wonder where Blaire got that info. Did I miss something?
Just like I said in my last video, if I'm ever off, y'all better go to the ends of the motherfucking earth. I'm really trying not to swear.
I'm just wondering though, why is some people haven't quite made it very compelling yet. Why is the Charlie Kirk case not believable at this point in time?
We might have to put like a swear counter on this or something. But
like for some of these people, I wish they'd kind of come out.
I hope y'all go to the ends of the earth, and that no group or organization or government or administration is off limits for y'all when finding out who really did it. To me, it's very disrespectful, actually, to the memory of Charlie Kirk's life to be like, no, the FBI is telling the truth and that's it. It's a lot of shut up and listen to the government narrative here.
It's not. Okay. It's what evidence has been presented. And if there was a lot of evidence that, or not even a lot, if there was at least some evidence of being like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. 200-yard shot directly in front of him. Depending on what that bullet size was, I mean, 30-06, yes, but they make different rounds. They make 225 grain, they make 55 grain. People, Candace Owens said that there was a fragment in his neck, not a full slug. Now, other people have said that no, it was a full slug, but from what I heard too, it was a fragment recovered. And if that's the case, the coyote shot's even more likely. And if that's also the case, and it fragmented in his neck, then absolutely it wouldn't have gone all the way through. So when I'm hearing that, it seems possible exactly the way it happened.
Again,
I'm just
never
saying,
really saw that much of it on the right, but then I'm,
saw it
realizing
happen,
now, they only distrusted
they're
the government
presenting makes
because it was
sense.
Democrats in office. Whereas if you're a real female dog, you distrust the government regardless of who's in office, and your best bet is to vote for who you trust the most and then hold their feet to the fire. But instead, it's this like, government was corrupt until this administration. What are we talking about? Mind you, all of these terms.
But here's the thing, too. I mean, we can't just look at it as like, they're just always 100% distrustful. We don't know which part is good or which part is bad. We don't know necessarily if they're compromised or not. Kash Patel and all them, they may be, they may not be. I don't know where it's coming from. This could be a different branch of government that executed this altogether, or not different branch of government, different branch of the FBI that did this altogether. And they are covering up their tracks really well, and they're slowing down Kash Patel's side. That could be what happened with the Epstein files as well. We don't know the internal civil war going on with our government at the moment. And I think there is one. I think there is somewhat of an internal civil war going on that we don't know about. That's kind of my theory on things with it. But I don't know for sure, And if something like that's going on, things start making a little bit more sense in that retrospect as well. But as far as I'm concerned, everything that's been presented is possible.
Spiked a day to 2 to 3 days before the shooting. And in July, there was a huge cluster. And you know what else happened in July?
Yeah, we got to watch that trial,
This
too.
Reporting by Fox 13 Salt Lake City has actually been doing some great investigative work.
The trial may
and
reveal a lot.
finally got hold of the paperwork from
microphone too
UVU and found out that they booked Charlie at UVU in July at the same time all these terms were spiking.
I'm Fox 13 investigative reporter Nate Carlisle. We've been asking UVU for records related to the September 10th Kirk rally. After about 6 weeks, this is the first record provided. It's the application submitted mid-July by the UVU chapter of Kirk's Turning Point USA.
So
Okay.
I want to be clear. I'm going to keep playing this in a second. I'm going to be clear. All of these terms, such as the doctor, plural, when it came to Charlie's body, the hospital, the gun used, the name of the alleged assassin, all of those spiked in these intelligence hotbed cities, DC, Israel, and Huntsville, at the same time that they actually booked the event for later in September. That to me is not swearing is really harder than it sounded in my head.
This is strange. Anyway, this is strange. This itself is something that is strange. But can we explain the Egypt part or the Ukraine part or any of the other things? You know what I mean? It is weird, but at the same time, were these all the same people? And were these the only places that had these searches too? Because I don't know if it's just Washington, D.C., Israel, and Huntsville. Were there other places that had all these searches too?
Before I started this, because I'm getting mad now. Keep playing it.
The applicants answer standard questions about time, place, and a description of the event. However, we noticed there is one question not asked on the form, whether organizers need any police protection. That's a standard inquiry at, for example, University of Utah events. Speaking of police, UVU has denied Fox 13 News' request for a copy of the Kirk Rally security plan. The university is citing the provision in state records laws keeping confidential, quote, security measures, end quote.
That could make sense. Because if they make it public and they kind of show what their security measures were, people could counter their security. You know what I mean? That might not be a good idea to leak, especially for future TPUSA events. I understand why they would do that. I almost was kind of like, why wouldn't they release that? And then it's like, oh, wait, duh. That's like telling everybody exactly where, exactly where everything is. You know what I mean? Like giving everybody the key to be able to get around every security guard. That's probably not a good idea.
The campus also has expressed concern that the records could interfere in any investigation and someone's right to a fair trial. Tyler Robinson is charged with Kirk's murder. Fox 13 plans an appeal of the denial, and we are still pursuing a variety of records related to the Kirk shooting. For now, in the studio, Nate Carlisle, Fox 13 News, Utah.
How would it interfere with the trial? I mean, I'm no legal expert, and that's fully admitted here, obviously, but I don't know. This whole like shut up and don't ask questions thing, it's a red flag for me. And,
it's not shut up, don't ask questions. I mean, you haven't done this. You know what I mean? So you're not understanding. It's Candace Owens who's mainly the problem. And not just Candace Owens. Who else is it? The Ian Carroll and someone else, whoever they are. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Who are literally saying TPUSA was behind this. Israel was behind this. Trump was behind this. The FBI was behind this. Ukraine was behind this. Egypt was behind this. When you do that much finger pointing, that's when issues really start to turn up. Because it's like, hey, guys, you don't know how much of this information is accurate or not. You know what I mean? One of these people could be behind this, or it could just be the original narrative of an underground trans network that has literally been committing a lot of mass shootings as of late. Also managed to do this to Charlie Kirk at a school, like of all places. How ironic, where the mass incidents have been happening. See what I'm saying?
God forbid
it's not
I honor my pattern recognition to see that this is the same motive for every other conspiracy that ends up being true.
Phil, you're
shut up and don't ask questions, Epstein. Shut up and don't ask questions, weather modification. And now it's like you can sign up.
T-Cal, thanks for
now weather modification, I forget what city I saw it in, is so like normal and just out there that you can sign up for it on your own farm. You can like hire a company to make it rain on your damn farm. Like everything they say isn't real. You have to go through this huge long process of like shut up and don't ask questions, and then eventually maybe it comes out. This never will, obviously. And it's like this unwillingness for people to question the narrative at all is strange to me, because are we pretending as if conspiracies when it comes to political assassinations in this country is like something like new, something rare, something?
Well, let's take JFK's for example. You ever heard of the magic bullet? That bullet went through so many different places and tumbled and spun around and went back up and down his body and all through his, everything. Made his head blow backwards even though he was shot from back there, apparently. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, nothing matched. Nothing matched as to how that would actually go down if he was hit from that angle, right? It was very easy to see right from the get-go that it was impossible. With Tyler Robinson, we don't have that. We have him directly in front of Charlie Kirk. We have a guy who probably went either center mass or headshot, and it was off somehow because it got the neck. Okay? It wasn't a dead-on accurate shot. That's a place that people don't aim for. People sit there and go, this must have been an expert. Actually, it looked to me like he missed his target and got lucky. That's what it looked like to me. On top of that, if he used 55 grain coyote shot and they did just recover a fragment out of his neck, there you go. That's absolutely possible. It's not going to go all the way through because it's a frangible round. It's 55 grain. It's not, bear shot or anything like that. It's coyote. It's made to not go all the way through so you don't hit your neighbors. Coyotes are 16 to 45 pound dogs. If that was used, which is actually the cheapest rounds you can buy for that weapon, then it makes sense because he's a broke college dropout living with his trans boyfriend in an apartment. Yeah, I would say that's probably the rounds he would have picked up, It's all those things together that are like, hey, this is way, way more accurate and way more difficult to disprove than JFK by a long, long, long shot.
Unheard of. Like this whole, you're crazy.
The ricochet theory hit his
if
chest.
you look into
that's
it,
what I thought happened to
crazy
first
doesn't equal wrong, and that is what I've been saying to
but I don't know
y'all
if that's right or not.
for a minute now. Anybody who's claiming people are crazy for asking questions, crazy for putting things together, crazy for noticing things, notice how they're not saying wrong. They're just trying to smear you. Crazy does not equal incorrect. A schizo on the street could tell you the sky is blue.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They could do that. But if you're acting schizo, it's not going to help. Nobody's going to believe you, even if you're right. Maybe don't act schizo. You know what I mean? Don't go full Candace Owens, because that drives people away. When you're acting that frantic and acting like you know every detail that's not even been made public, then that's a massive, massive issue. You could be right all day long. You're not convincing anyone. And you should know that, Blaire.
You're going to not believe that because he's crazy?
You debate.
Is it wrong or is it right? It's just disturbing. And of course, you have all these people that are just so uninterested. So uninterested. I heard Megyn Kelly in an interview recently, and she was like, I'm going to trust the government on this. I'm not really a conspiracy person. See, that's that picking and choosing thing, first of all. Because you sure were when it came to Hunter's laptop. You sure were when it came to the Epstein stuff until they told you not to be. And it's not just about Megyn Kelly. It's not about singling her out. It's about how, when did conspiracy even become like a slur?
Well, I don't think
conspiracy just means an organized lie, right?
I guess, but
I hate how everyone lately has to start their sentences with,
it's conspiracy theorist. It becomes more of a noun. Or, it becomes a noun. You know what I mean? Like, when you call somebody a conspiracy theorist, at that point, you've put somebody, you've made that word into a noun, okay, when it wasn't before. Essentially that. You're putting a label on someone now. And that, when you call someone a conspiracy theorist, you're sitting there calling them an obsessed truther that they know something happened without actual proof. But they're full-fledged in full belief of the path that they've carved. When unfortunately, it might be the complete opposite of what they ever thought, Like, with JFK, it could have been like, oh man, the mafia was actually, they saw mafia guys standing in front of him and all that. And then as it turns out, it was actually just a flyby, sniper from an aircraft or something somehow. Like, they had some crazy tech to be able to do that. They were wrong the whole time, you know what I mean? Like, that's why it's never a good idea to sit there and go, I know this is the way this went down. Because it may turn out to be something a little different. And then it would be like, oh, that makes even more sense. Or maybe not at all. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, when you're married to something that you can't prove, it's not a good relationship.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but hold on. Let's translate what you're saying. When you say not to be a conspiracy theorist, but what you're saying is not to believe that people can lie in an organized way. See how stupid you sound when you actually break it down? It's like people think that conspiracy is a synonym for myth or hoax or untrue. It's not, babe. Just like crazy isn't, just like insane isn't. None of those things are synonyms for wrong. Prove it wrong or don't.
Well, no, not necessarily. It's not that we have to prove a claim wrong. Claims have to come with evidence. And then it would be our job to prove it wrong. But if claims come forward, nothing to prove it, it's the claimant that is responsible for proving its existence.
And if you can't, that's on you. That's on you. I am
not quite
pointing a finger and accusing anybody specific. There's a lot of people.
There you go. See, that's what's different between you and Candace Owens there, right? It's kind of the main thing. That's the big thing right there, you know? That's why I prefer Blaire White's version of how Blaire is approaching this. It's very simple. Candace should genuinely take a page from Blaire's book and apply it to her own life. This is how you do it. You don't have to point fingers. You just have to come out and say, this stuff's weird, this stuff's weird. But whenever you're sitting there saying, I know this is it, you're driving these people off this cliff with you. And it very much seems like it's money motivated, you know? Well, she's already rich. She doesn't have to, you know, there's no reason for her to do that. Are you kidding me? Really? That's such a non-argument. Are you, like, do you not know that Soros exists? Do you not know that all these mega billionaires exist? You think Candace has enough? Like, if somebody's bound, dead, and determined to make more money, they're going to try and make more money because it's never enough.
Who are very low IQ conspiracy theorists, right? And the low IQ conspiracy theorists are going to post that screenshot of Erica Kirk doing the I love you in sign language and being like, look, it's the devil horns. And so people who post stuff like that, it's like, you're retarded. People who are showing, hey,
very much agreed.
There is a long list of search terms that were not being searched ever at all until right before the shooting when no one should have known them. The statistical likelihood of that.
So it definitely was like not, I mean, I don't know for sure. Was it not anywhere else in the United States or was it just in those areas?
I don't know. I can't even find like anything else to compare that to.
It is weird. Yeah, for sure.
Impossible.
Well, no. If it all came from the same IP address, impossible. Okay. If these are different searches throughout the city, Tyler Robinson on one computer, all the way across town, that tail number on another, all the way across town, you know, maybe, probably not. Maybe it's not that weird. You know what I mean?
Matters. I feel like the hope for,
because why would they Google them?
You know,
why?
Transparency about things from this administration. I have none anymore.
Right?
I have none anymore. I knew right away when we were a couple months in and there was not one mention of the Trump shooter back in Butler in July 24. I knew right away, like, oh, that was a Fed thing. Oh, and by the way.
Well, yeah, that does seem like a Fed
that
thing.
job.
Because he should have been covered by Secret Service. Charlie Kirk didn't have Secret Service. To me, that's a major difference, you know. There's way more nuance available to show that Trump was set up by the feds, for sure, compared to what happened with Charlie Kirk, just based on their security, you know.
My memory, the same early search thing was also true of that shooter. Do you guys know that? I remember the same stuff being posted right after.
Could be part underground Trantifa. You know what I mean? They could be doing all these Google searches too, because they're fixing to go out there and, you know, commit these crimes. Could still be them. Don't get me wrong. So
after the Trump shooting in Butler in 24, about how there was all these terms relating to the shooting that popped up before in clusters. So what does it mean? You tell me. But I know it definitely doesn't mean that the shooter was just some guy and because he was dating a furry and was super lived out, he killed Charlie Kirk. And I'm sorry, even when you say it out loud.
That's actually accurate, though. Like that, I know that sounds silly to you, Blaire, but trans mass shooters, you know.
It just sounds kind of dumb. It sounds like boomer slop. It sounds like something a boomer sitting on their couch at home listening to the news.
So then who broke into all those churches and schools and started leveling kids as Trantifa? Who did that? Does that boomer slop too? Because that actually did happen. Are you denying those? See, that's the problem, Blaire. That's kind of a big issue I have.
Oh yeah, it was because he was a furry or something. What are we talking about?
a broken
Not
freak
to,
that,
provide cover for the furries because damn. Eyesore. You know what I mean? Like blight.
I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know anything about furries, to be honest. I really don't. I don't understand it myself either. But no, that's what I'm trying to say, though, is like there's an underground, there's claims that there are an underground Trantifa organization. They could be in communication. I just think Blaire probably wasn't thinking about this, honestly. But at the end of the day, they're a network. They're talking on Discords, different Discord servers. Very good possibility that they were Googling this stuff as they were all talking between each other on Discord and whatnot. I don't know. That's what I think happened, probably. And when you think about it, I bet Blaire would probably come out and be like, I didn't think of that, so we'll see.
On society.
I wonder
However,
if Blaire will make
furry doesn't equal sophisticated political assassination operation. And the only reason that might...
well, because so if, let's say Blaire is fully on Candace's side, I don't think Blaire necessarily is. I think Blaire's a lot more critically thinking than Candace Owens in general. But people like Candace Owens don't care about the court case. To them, the court case is completely and totally fake. So that's pretty much why. I am going to watch the court case. I want to stream it here. I really want to stream the court case here, if possible. If they have it. But at the end of the day, that court case is not going to be compelling at all to people like Candace Owens. So that's kind of why we have to talk about this, before the court case and all. Because like I said, they just don't believe in it.
Be together in your head, that those phrases might go together in your head, is because you're a boomer consuming government slop. The intelligence agencies in this country and abroad, oh no, don't say anything about Mossad, such as Mossad, have been committing organized political assassinations since before our grandparents were alive. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? It's not as if I'm sitting here saying some aliens from Zeta Reticuli came down and had a beef with Charlie Kirk and killed him and then took his body to Venus. Okay? I'm saying we have some evil intelligence agencies in this country and abroad. And they do evil.
Only one? Sorry, I was a little delayed on that one. It just came to me. And abroad. So we only got one broad, but a lot of agencies. God dang, my hair is just not wanting to cooperate. Keeps getting caught in the there's a spring right up here. And so
things. And if that's crazy or like far out to you, I think you're just retarded. I really do.
I don't know.
My God. It's making me mad now. Because it's like the gaslighting is too much. Pretending as if people placing some blame on government in this and or foreign governments to pretend as if that's something just so far out and unlikely. You don't know how the world works. You shouldn't even be talking. But yeah, you get told it's a furry and it's a closed case for you.
Have people been making that argument, though, that it's unlikely for the government to be doing this? Maybe Cat Turd? Maybe, I don't know. Is Cat Turd been like, hey, this is like, let's just trust the government no matter what? I think that's not the issue. I think the issue is that this is actually a compelling story as to how this happened.
For you. Slop.
We saw the build.
It's just a whole lot of things they don't want you to talk about. And anytime somebody tells me not to talk about something, it makes me want to say it more. Out of like a moral imperative. Because there's something important behind that thing they're saying not to say that probably has some relevance to the situation. Otherwise, they wouldn't be... Because mind you, if I sat up here and theorized that aliens from Zeta Reticuli came down and did it, no one would even be telling me to shut up. They would be laughing at me. Or they would be ignoring it. So if these conspiracy theories that it was some sort of intelligence hit are just so far out there, why aren't you just like laughing at it or ignoring it? Why are you so mad about it? Why are you so angry about it?
Well, I don't know. Are there people out there like that? I don't know. I think it's just the annoyance simply of Candace Owens doing such a hard finger pointing and other people, Ian Carroll and all those guys, doing such a hard finger pointing. I think that's the big issue. I don't know that I haven't seen anybody going, you shouldn't question this at all. I do think we need to wait for the court case. I think that's probably the best thing we can do. because at least we can give them the opportunity to fully explain themselves in a court of law. If they don't do that, then we understand, okay, there's probably something else going on. But we got to give them the opportunity first. And Candace doesn't want to wait for that. She doesn't want to try to understand that this could possibly be exactly what came after Charlie Kirk, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This could be a underground trans terror Trantifa cell. But at the end of the day, we just don't know yet. We got to let them present that evidence. Why does that sound unlikely? Especially with what they've been doing as of late. Why does that sound unlikely to Candace and possibly Blaire White? That's what I don't understand.
I would like to know where y'all are sourcing this trust for the FBI from, because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing some examples of positive transparency that have happened during this administration. Maybe I'm focusing a bit too much on like all the major lies, but it's kind of hard to give them the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion. Thank you so much to Fume for sponsoring this episode of the...
Okay. Well, that's the end of that. I don't know, guys. The way Blaire puts it, so much better and so much more palatable than Candace Owens. It's absolutely unbelievable to me. But at the end of the day, there's still some issues with it. And it's like, well, you know, why are they not wanting to get to the bottom of this? And it's like, I don't think that they're not wanting to get to the bottom of it. I think that the narrative that they have given us is actually satisfactory. It's actually possible. It's actually likely. Underground Trantifa. They didn't like Kirk. They've been shooting up schools. They've been shooting up churches. Weeks leading up to this. Weeks and weeks, okay, of this constantly going down. And then, when we finally get to Kirk, it's very, very, very fresh on our minds because Charlie Kirk was in the middle of talking about these mass shooters. It's ironic, isn't it? That's how fresh it was on our minds. And then that happens. So that's why it's like, hey, they haven't given us a magic bullet like situation. And even if they did, like, let's say that they're right about this whole 30-06 shot, okay? Let's say that this thing would have just absolutely decapitated. Why would these intelligence agencies not know that beforehand? Why would they give that away? Why would they show us an impossible shot? These people are experts at getting people ended. Don't they know what each round would do? Do they not understand that? So why? Why wouldn't they set him up with a different long-range rifle that wouldn't do that? Or bullet, or caliber, or anything? Why not? Why would they set it up so sloppy? Why is everything done sloppy? These guys are supposed to be experts. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you see why I question it? That's the thing about it. So, at the end of the day, it's just, it doesn't make much sense. Let's catch up on a little bit of Candace Owens, and then I'm going to probably have to hop off here. It'll have to be a bit of a shorter night, unfortunately, because, you know, wife's sick. She can't be down there for two. We'll see this. I don't care about Alexis one way or the other, but I want to point out that the head of the FBI is tweeting out in defense of his girlfriend. Not a wife, but a girlfriend. We are just not a serious nation whatsoever. Like, I don't understand this criticism. I am proud of the work of this FBI. We're taking violent criminals off of the streets in record numbers, crushing the fentanyl crisis, dismantling cartels, saving children, hunting down terrorists, and so much more. Let me be clear. We will not be distracted by baseless rumors or the noise from the uninformed internet anarchists and the fake news. I've always said, criticize me all you want, but going after the people doing great work, my personal life, or those around me is a total disgrace. The disgustingly baseless attacks against Alexis, a true patriot and the woman I am proud to call my partner in life, are beyond pathetic. She is a rock-solid conservative and a country music sensation who has done more for this nation than most will in 10 lifetimes. I'm so blessed she's in my life. Attacking her isn't just wrong. It's cowardly and jeopardizes our safety. My love of my family will always be my cornerstone, and you will never tear that down or keep me from them. And I and this FBI will stay laser focused on our mission and continue the reform we promised, rebuilding this bureau from the ground up. And our supposed allies staying silent. Your silence is louder than clickbait haters. I don't understand. When you're the head of the FBI and your girlfriend is getting any type of threat on them, don't you think that no matter what, you would have to respond? What, is he supposed to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to defend her under the law? Aren't these threats illegal? Isn't he like top cop? Don't you think it would be probably in his best interest as a officer of the law here, essentially, the head of the FBI? Don't you think that maybe, just maybe, he probably ought to say, hey, you can't do illegal things to my girlfriend? I don't know. I think it's pretty crazy that she has a problem with that. What the hell, Candace? Am I missing something? Like, let's see some of these comments. No one is stopping you from defending your anti-Semitic husband who has radicalized. Okay, I don't care about that. This man eloquently explains the truth about Candace Owens. Okay. I don't care. What happened to Cash? Who got him? Are people not going to defend this at all? Really? Like, directly anyway? Candace hit the nail on the head when the FBI director is more focused on defending his girlfriend than defending America. Guys, it's a threat to somebody he's dating. I'm so confused. Why would he allow that to go on? I don't think he could have responded any other way. Think about it. First of all, if he didn't, she'd break up with him probably. Because what kind of woman would stay with someone who won't openly defend them? Second of all, he probably either lives with her or at least likes her enough to where he wouldn't want any criminals thinking they could get away with making threats towards her. I don't know. I think if you're threatening people close to him, he has to respond, no matter what. It wouldn't matter if it's his fifth cousin. I don't understand this. It wouldn't matter if it was a Tinder date. If he swiped her once and only went to dinner with her once. If somebody came out and was like, hey, saw you with Kash Patel, gonna, do something. He'd probably be like, hey, you can't do that. Right? Why does she have a problem with this? I don't understand at all. I'm genuinely confused by what Candace thought she was doing there. This is so crazy. I'm at a loss of words. I'm not even kidding. Let's see here. Chad Schnitger, what an unfortunate name, is the founder of the California chapter of the Faith and Freedom Coalition. The Faith and Freedom Coalition. Oh, this is Village Crazy Lady. I'm going to give her a follow real quick so I can get some of that evidence. On July 31st, Ralph Reed, along with Luke Moon of the Philos Project, Paul Singer's baby, and whatever. Okay, they met with these people. I don't know any of these people from the Israeli government, including Netanyahu's son, Yair. Okay. In an off-the-record meeting to discuss the concerning woke right defamation of Israel and the Jewish people. Really? Where did you get that information? Interesting. I'll look at the pictures after. They launched a conference of Christian presidents from Israel to confront the combat growing anti-Semitism in the MAGA movement. 4 days later, Bill Ackman held his intervention for the Charlie Kirk in the Hamptons. Read the article below, then tell me how you think it went over that Charlie refused to cut ties with the people this meeting was literally being held over. Was it? Our leadership... Oh, come on. I can barely see this. Okay, this doesn't say anything. I joined leaders of newly launched conference of Christian presidents for Israel, gathered yesterday, planning for confronting the concerning woke right defamation of Israel. Woke right. Isn't that like, what's his name was confused? Isn't that James Lindsay? Isn't that him that was, like, doing that? I don't think that had anything to do with Charlie Kirk, right? The woke right thing came from James Lindsay, right? Why would they go after him? And the Jewish people? Thank you, Pastor Bramnick, all this stuff. So I'm kind of confused by that. Let's see. Private roundtable, family research, okay. Call it the perpetrators and hold accountability. Okay. Bramnick is also senior pastor of all this. I'm trying to just see anything explicit here. It was causing a lot of concern. Okay, so they're talking about the Marxists and Islamists coming together, taking over college campuses. Okay. Moon was heartened to see all this stuff. Okay. Then out from underneath the rocks came the anti-Semitic stuff that we are starting to see from the right. Like Nick Fuentes and stuff like that, I could understand what they're talking about when it comes to that. He said he added that some of the Goyim Defense League's hateful views metastasized within elements on the right. Okay. Okay, here we go. A lot of metastasization occurred in the podcasting field. Moon cited podcasters aligned with U.S. President Donald Trump, including Theo Vaughn, who hosted the formerly pro-Israel Candace Owens, who now regularly spreads anti-Semitic conspiracies. In March, the same month, Joe Rogan hosted Ian Carroll, who also peddles Jew hatred and conspiracies. Okay, so they all had a meeting about this stuff. All right. Let's see. Moon thinks that isolation during the COVID pandemic, the impact of Black Lives Matter movement, and okay. He thinks Jew haters with media platforms are taking advantage of that distrust and are telling their audiences that Jews and other make accusations of anti-Semitism too much. Okay. He's saying that comes from some MAGA movement leaders. Candace Owens, they bring her, or Carlson Owens. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, it's Carlson. So Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, former senior Trump advisor Steve Bannon, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and among other things, are demanding that groups like AIPAC and Christians United for Israel comply with Foreign Agents Registration Act, Bramnick told attendees. Bannon has said the Jewish state isn't a U.S. ally, while Carlson has said that Americans who served in the Israeli military ought to lose their U.S. citizenship. Yeah, I think they have to not necessarily lose it. More like they have to, in order to sign up for the Israeli military, they do have to have a choice of you either renounce it before you go in, or you just don't go into their military. You know what I mean? It's not like, I don't think we should retroactively necessarily be like, okay, you served over there, now we're taking away your citizenship now. I don't think that would be necessarily fair, but I think we should set up a thing of like, hey, no, I don't care what, you could be like, I'm going to go fight for, in the Congo, I'm going to fight against these people. It's like, okay, well, it's going to give you it's going to be a conflict of interest. In order for you to do that, you got to renounce your citizenship to fight in any other military. And I think to serve in our military, you must renounce your citizenship of any country that you came from and become a United States citizen only if you're going to serve in our military. I think it goes both ways. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, Bannon has said that the Jewish state isn't a U.S. Okay, I already said this stuff. Carlson repeatedly echoed the elements of all that stuff. Yeah, we get it. Okay. So they had issues with it. I don't blame them for having issues with it. You know why? They're Jewish and they're Israel first. I can't say that I'm surprised by any of this. So of course they're going to call a meeting, right? Makes sense. So I don't know. The question isn't necessarily of, this isn't what's weird. The weird thing would be what happened after all this. What was Charlie Kirk's reaction to it? What was everybody's reaction to Charlie Kirk? And then maybe it will get weird, right? So there is that. Let's see here. Ties to American, it doesn't matter. So it's good work to kind of uncover this. Not going to lie. But my issues are going to be that just because they sat down and had a meeting about it didn't mean anything happened. Charlie Kirk could have just simply been like, okay, well, maybe I agree with you guys. I don't know. Or maybe not. And maybe they're like, okay, well, we're not going to fund you anymore. And then it's like, okay, well, you guys are going to care about that. Then, maybe I should drop out of the Israeli cause. And maybe they were just like, fine. And then a trans person did what they did, right? I don't know. I have no idea. How am I going to prove that, guys? That's my point. Anyway, yeah, it's different than being a mercenary, but I don't know if it's 1-for-1. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's, why don't they search Qatar as well, though? They fund a lot also. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, apparently they're being bought out by Qatar, maybe. Candace and all them. I can tell you this. I'm very confident that Candace uses bots. Because I get a lot of bots defending Candace Owens. And they're not very good bots. They can't, like, argue well. You click on their profile, it's like, it's just a blank profile, on YouTube. And what they say doesn't make sense half the time. And they come swinging like I said something but I don't know what they're talking about. It's like they replied mid-sentence on something, but it didn't make any sense. It was like it came from a different video. So it's like they're responding to not me. They're just responding, and it belongs on somebody else's video. And it somehow made it to my account, but they're talking about specifically Candace Owens. And so I'm like, okay, these are definitely bots coming in here. Like, I can more than verify that. So who's sending them to come over here and trash my video? Isn't that weird? Why is that happening? So I don't see that whenever I criticize anything Israel. I don't get a bunch of bots coming into my videos. But if I criticize anything anti-Israel, I'm getting bots in my comments calling me out. So how that's going to influence me if that keeps happening? Genuinely, it's going to make me think that these anti-Israel people are having to bot and are fake. It's not going to make me trust them. So, just letting you know, bad idea if you're botting, Candace. If you are absolutely botting, it's not going to actually work in your favor whatsoever. So anyway, she was like, all of us were deluded, but we were all waking up. Oh, this is the Norm Finkelstein thing. And unfortunately, Norm Finkelstein here gives a lot of nuance, a lot of just like, trust me, bro, and no evidence. And maybe we'll watch that one on a longer live stream later. What do you guys think? We could do that. It's like a 2.5-hour interview. I didn't make it through the whole thing yet either. But I was listening to him, and he gives a lot of trust me, bro, information as well. And I can't give away my sources. So it's like, great, that means nothing to me then. So, I don't know. It's interesting. We may go through it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, though. Please like, subscribe, and share, and all that good stuff. I'm probably going to have to go ahead and hop off here. Wow, I am almost at 15,300 subs. I just need 3 more people to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, you should hit that and get me there. That'd be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. Seriously, thank you all so much for being here. But I gotta go help the wife. She's sick. She ain't feeling good. Why does it feel like I'm fighting my microphone volume? Do I sound quiet to you guys? Or do I sound pretty decent? Because I feel like my volume is very low. I don't know why. Let's see. Is there anything else going on? I have notifications. They're probably... okay. Let's see. Just taking a look real quick. Just like, hey, thank you. I really do appreciate it, guys. Genuinely, I do. Ethan Klein calls out Taylor Lorenz again. Yeah, great. Okay. There's nothing really here. All right. Not many updates. Nothing crazy going on at all today, which is, I guess nice for a Sunday. Thank you all again. Crazy. I didn't even know that this time change was happening either. Already dark out, and it's only 5. Or it's 6 now. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm all twisted up today. Thank you all so much. I'll see you guys here in the next one. Later.